If you want her to come back, never text her. That sounds extreme, almost cruel, especially when every part of you wants to reach out. Explain yourself, remind her who you are, or prove that you still care. Silence feels like surrender. Silence feels like losing. But silence, when done from strength instead of fear, is power. And power is what attraction responds to. When a woman pulls away, most men panic. They start negotiating. They start chasing. They start sending long messages that explain their intentions, their feelings, their regret, their loyalty. They believe that if they can just say the right words, something will click inside her and she'll come back. But attraction doesn't work like a logical argument. Attraction works through emotion, tension, and polarity. And every unnecessary text you send dissolves all three. Think about what happens the moment you text her. You're placing yourself beneath her emotional state. You're saying, I need this resolved now. I need reassurance now. I need you to respond so I can feel okay. Even if your words are polite, even if they're calm, the energy behind them is need, and need kills desire faster than anger ever could. When you text her after she has pulled away, you're also removing the very thing that could make her miss you absence. People don't miss what's always available. They don't crave what they already have. They don't feel curiosity towards something that keeps knocking on the door. Silence creates space. Space creates reflection. Reflection creates longing. A woman doesn't come back because you convinced her with words. She comes back because she felt something shift inside her. She felt the contrast between life with you and life without you. She felt the emotional vacuum you left behind. And that can only happen when you stop filling the silence with your anxiety. Never texting her is not about playing games. It's not about manipulation. It's about self-respect. It's about choosing dignity over desperation. When you stop texting, you're not punishing her, you're reclaiming yourself. You're telling your nervous system, I don't chase what doesn't choose me. That internal shift changes everything. Most men don't realize this, but the moment you stop texting, her perception of you begins to change. At first, she feels relief. The pressure is gone. She's no longer managing your emotions. Then, slowly, curiosity creeps in. She wonders why you're quiet. She wonders if you've moved on. She wonders if she misjudged your strength. And that curiosity is the doorway back to attraction. Contrast this with the man who keeps texting. He becomes predictable. He becomes emotionally loud. He becomes easy to ignore. His messages lose value because there are too many of them. Silence, on the other hand, is rare. Silence signals confidence. Silence suggests that you have a life purpose, an identity that does not revolve around her validation. There's another deeper reason why you should never text her. If you want her to come back, growth only happens in discomfort. When you keep texting, you're protecting her from feeling the loss. You're softening the breakup. You're giving her emotional cushioning. But when you disappear, she has to sit with the consequences of her decision. She has to feel what it's like to not have access to you anymore. And here's the truth most men don't want to hear: if she never comes back after you stop texting, she was never going to come back anyway. You didn't lose her by going silent. You revealed the truth sooner. Silence doesn't push away the right woman, it filters out the wrong one. Never texting her also does something powerful for you. It breaks the addiction cycle. Every text you send is a hit of hope. Every reply you get resets your emotional progress back to zero. Silence allows your nervous system to stabilize. It allows clarity to return. It allows you to remember who you were before you started shrinking yourself to keep someone close. When you don't text her, you regain leverage, not over her, but over yourself. You stop reacting. You stop seeking external regulation. You stop handing your emotional power to someone who has already chosen distance. That inner shift is visible even if she never hears from you again. Women are deeply intuitive. They feel when a man has grounded himself. And if she does reach out, and many do, the dynamic is already different. You're no longer the man trying to convince her to stay. You're the man who was willing to walk away with dignity. that alone reframes her attraction. She's now responding to strength, not need, curiosity, not obligation. This is why never texting her works, not because it forces her to come back, but because it forces truth. Either she feels the absence and steps forward, or she doesn't. Either way, you win, because you stop living in limbo. You stop bleeding slowly through hope. You stop waiting for someone who isn't choosing you. Let silence do what words never could. Let it communicate boundaries. Let it communicate confidence. Let it communicate that your value does not decrease just because someone walked away. And most importantly, let it give you the space to grow into the version of yourself that doesn't need to chase love, because love recognizes him naturally. If she comes back, it won't be because you begged, explained, or reminded her. It will be because you had the strength to step back, stand firm, and let reality speak for you. And if she doesn't, you won't be the man who lost her, you'll be the man who found himself. So the real question isn't whether never texting her will make her come back. The real question is this: are you strong enough to choose silence long enough to discover that the most powerful move you ever make might be the one where you say nothing at all? Silence also forces you to confront something most men try to avoid: the fear of being forgotten. When you stop texting her, the mind starts racing. You imagine her laughing with someone else, replacing you easily, moving on without a second thought. But that fear is not reality, it's withdrawal. You're not missing her as much as you're missing the version of yourself that felt chosen. And that's an important distinction, because once you see it clearly, the grip loosens. When you don't text, you begin to rebuild internal stability. You stop outsourcing your self-worth to her reactions. You stop measuring your value by response times and message length. Slowly, you reclaim emotional independence. And that independence is what makes a man magnetic, whether she comes back or not. Many men believe silence is passive. In truth, it's active restraint. It's choosing not to react impulsively. It's choosing long-term respect over short-term relief. It's choosing growth over comfort. Anyone can send a message. Very few can sit with the discomfort of not being answered and still hold their ground. And here's something subtle but critical: when you stop texting, you give her the freedom to choose. Not choose out of guilt. Not choose because you kept showing up, but choose because she wants to. Desire only exists where freedom exists. Pressure suffocates it. Silence restores it. You also stop reinforcing a dynamic where she holds emotional authority. Every unanswered message trains your nervous system to accept less. Silence flips that script. You're no longer auditioning. You're no longer asking for permission to be valued. You're standing in quiet certainty. And certainty is attractive because it feels safe. Over time, silence changes how you remember the relationship. The fog lifts. You see patterns you ignored. You notice moments where you compromised your boundaries. You realize how often you gave more than you received. This clarity is dangerous, not to you, but to the old version of you that was willing to chase at the cost of self-respect. If she comes back during this phase, it's not because you waited. It's because something inside you shifted. Your energy changed. Your attachment loosened. And people can feel that from miles away. When a man no longer needs reassurance, he becomes grounded. When he becomes grounded, he becomes desirable. And if she doesn't come back, silence still does its job. It saves you. It redirects you. It prevents you from wasting months, sometimes years, stuck in emotional purgatory. Silence ends the fantasy and replaces it with truth. And truth, even when painful, is cleaner than hope that keeps bleeding you dry. There is also a quiet confidence that emerges when you realize you survived without reaching out. Each day, you don't text her as a small victory, a reminder that you are capable of self-control, a reminder that your world does not collapse when someone leaves. That realization alone rewires how you approach relationships forever. Eventually, you stop thinking about whether she'll come back. You stop checking your phone. You stop replaying conversations. You start building a life that doesn't need validation to feel meaningful. And that's the paradox. The moment you no longer need her to return is the moment you're most attractive again. Silence is not absence. Silence is presence with yourself. It's where discipline is built. It's where identity solidifies. It's where you become the man who doesn't chase, not because he's bitter, but because he knows his worth. So if you want her to come back, don't text her. Not because it guarantees her return, but because it guarantees something far more important, your self-respect. And when you have that, you don't lose, no matter what she chooses. Because the strongest signal you can ever send isn't another message on her phone. It's the quiet certainty that you'll be just fine with or without her. Silence also teaches you patience, and patience is something modern relationships desperately lack. In a world where everything is instant, where replies are expected within minutes, choosing not to text is a form of quiet rebellion. It tells the world, and more importantly yourself, that you are not ruled by impulse, that you don't need immediate relief to survive emotional discomfort. This patience hardens you in the right way. It doesn't make you cold, it makes you centered. As days pass, something interesting happens. The emotional charge attached to her name begins to fade, not disappear completely, but soften. The sharpness dulls, the urgency weakens. And in that space, you start seeing yourself more clearly. You notice how much mental energy you were spending monitoring her moods, her interest, her availability. Silence gives you that energy back. This is when many men feel a strange mix of peace and sadness. Peace because the chaos is gone. Sadness because the illusion is dying. The illusion that if you had just said the right thing at the right time, everything would have worked out. Silence exposes a truth that's uncomfortable but liberating. You were never meant to force alignment. Real connection doesn't require constant maintenance through anxiety. There's also a maturity that develops when you stop trying to control outcomes. Texting is often an attempt to control how she feels, control how the story ends, control uncertainty. Silence is surrender, but not the weak kind. It's surrender to reality. And reality has a way of rearranging things in your favor when you stop interfering. When she thinks of you during this period, she won't remember your last long message. She won't replay your explanations. She'll remember how you made her feel when you were grounded, calm, and present. She'll remember the version of you that didn't chase. Memory favors strength, not need. And if she reaches out, you'll notice something different in yourself. You won't feel that surge of adrenaline mixed with fear. You won't feel the urge to respond immediately. You'll feel steady. You'll respond from choice, not hunger, and that changes the entire dynamic. Suddenly, you're not trying to win her back. You're evaluating whether she still fits into the life you're building. That's the real transformation. Silence flips the question. It's no longer, how do I get her back? It becomes, does she deserve access to me again? That shift alone is worth more than any reunion. Some men worry that silence makes them invisible. In reality, it makes you unforgettable because most men react. Most men chase. Most men collapse under emotional pressure. When you don't, you stand out, not loudly, but unmistakably. Silence also removes false hope. It prevents you from misreading politeness as interest, friendliness as desire, breadcrumbs as commitment. Without constant contact, illusions die quickly. And while that hurts at first, it saves you from deeper wounds later. As time goes on, you realize something powerful. You don't actually need closure from her. Closure comes from understanding, not conversation. And understanding arrives when emotions settle, which only happens in silence. You begin trusting yourself again, trusting your ability to handle loss, trusting your instincts, trusting that walking away doesn't mean failure. Sometimes it means graduation. You outgrow dynamics that require you to beg for basic reciprocity. And here's the irony most men miss. The version of you that silence creates is the version that never struggles with attraction again. Not because he's perfect, but because he's whole. He doesn't chase because he doesn't fear being alone. He doesn't cling because he knows his value isn't negotiable. Whether she comes back or not stops being the point. You become the point. Your peace becomes the priority. Your standards become clear. And from that place, relationships stop feeling like battles and start feeling like choices. So let silence do its work. Let it strip away desperation. Let it burn off illusion. Let it sharpen your identity. Because the goal was never just to get her back. The goal was to become the man who never loses himself trying to keep someone else. And if one day she looks back and wonders why you never texted, why you disappeared so quietly, why you didn't fight harder, the answer will be simple. You weren't running away. You were standing still, strong enough to let what left stay gone.